All right, guys, so I believe we should be back. I do apologize there, having a little bit of hiccup on our side, but hopefully the issues are figured out. I'm not sure exactly what you may have missed, but we are right now 7.5 minutes in. It's a 3-1 hero kill advantage for Lions. There was some very a lot of entertainment here in the middle lane. In fact, speaking of in the middle lane, Succubus getting initiated on here once again. She already used the Heartache. Will it be enough for the kill still? Yes, it will. Succubus goes down. Pebbles barely surviving, using the illusion at the last second, and he will stay alive. So great job right there coming out for Jagged again. He's now 2-1-2 as a result of that kill. But yeah, just prior to that, I think you may have missed it unfortunately, but it was pretty awesome entertainment. The sleep was causing a lot of issues for both sides. It ended up being a 1-for-1 exchange in the end, though. But here we are now, 4-1 hero kill advantage in favor of Lions, as you can see. Overall stats, though, are still favoring TteS Esports in the end.
I mean, well, Slick is farming out so much. There's actually Riser on Tree. He kind of backs away a little bit. Maybe he saw a little bit more than he wanted to see. But thought that was going to be a for sure kill on Pebbles, but nonetheless, Tree makes his way towards the mid. That's going to cue Draconis. Like, we need to push top. In the meantime, Waitalaba actually gets credit for the tower kill bottom as they aggressively push this bottom tower. And yeah, if you look at the numbers, I mean, it is favor TteS Esports, but Slicks is just farming ridiculously. I think he's got very close to every last hit. Actually, he's missed
61 in 8.5 minutes. That is
61 is great.
That's very good. Yeah. And the tower kill on top of that, of course. So yeah, 400 gold per minute already. Here we go again. He has got the helm of the victim. We'll see if it's like last game where he doesn't use that until later on, or if he will eventually just turn that into the quick whispering hell. But he's going to go into the jungle, continue to clean up a little bit. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Pebbles sitting here with an Invis room, but Keeper the Forest also coming in invisible. Pebbles will open onto Succubus, though, and Succubus will be bursted down. Keeper the Forest choosing not to root right there, figuring that maybe Succubus was dead anyways. But yeah, that was very good timing on Lions' part, because if they waited just a little bit longer, that could have very likely gone in favor of the Legion team with Keeper the Force initiating. So that just happened to work out. Well timed by them.
Well, the runes are coming into big play right here. First, that haste rune starting off the game, getting that Bloodlust onto Leon Black, and then the Invis rune right there. It was pretty unfortunate for them. I mean, they thought they had a for sure gank, but they turned it around on them with their Invis rune of their own. And, I mean, the burst damage, I mean, look at him for he is constantly roaming to the mid, and with great success. He's 0-5, so setting up good kills. And look, this is what good teams do when they draft Draconis. They leave the jungle for Draconis and leave the lane for someone else to farm. So Nymphora is going to hit that level 6 hopefully here soon, taking that lane and leaving the jungle for Draconis. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, and of course, why that's so deadly is the fact that she is paired up with the Pebbles this game.
Right.
Pebbles doesn't have the portal key just yet, obviously. I mean, he is farming very well. In fact, farming 316 gold per minute, not shabby at all. He's got the Steam Boots, Power Supply, and Bottle early on. So at this point, you expect usually we see it working on that portal key next. But we're only 10 minutes in, so still very, very good news here for Lion Esports Club in that sense. You got Draconis, 350 gold per minute now. As you said, he's kind of just worked his way into the jungle here. Going to start cleaning that up. The Ancients are currently double stacked, so we'll see in the near future. Perhaps they get triple stacked, and Draconis may go over there. But yeah, Draconis is level 9 as well, so he's doing very well in that sense. Silhouette, though, just doing that much better, both in experience and especially in gold. Slicks is 425 GPM now. This guy just continues to not disappoint when it comes to being able to farm and just be so awesome in life in general. But the middle tower taking a lot of damage right here. You see an Illusion Pebbles actually going up. Oh, they're going to try to bait something out right here. We'll see if they can. But actually at the bottom lane, Bubbles taking a lot of damage from Silhouette.
They actually already saw an Illusion Pebbles walk towards them, and they killed that. So they probably suspect that, you know, obviously it might be fake. Top lane, they actually are able to, well, in the mid lane anyway, they're actually able to stop that push relatively easy with only 2 heroes. And in the meantime, top lane, they're actually pushing that. And actually, Lions have taken the lead in experience. Of course, it's very early on. But with a 5-1 hero kill, you'd expect it to be a little bit higher. But as you mentioned, Slicks on Silhouette with massive farm, 90 CS at only 11 minutes. And lots of experience to boot. But you got to attribute that to, also I talked about, Torture is only level 3, and that might come into play.
Yeah. Yeah, ooh, bottom lane. Yeah, Bubbles is going to be able to shell stuff away. But again, level 10 Silhouette versus a level 5 Bubbles, not a favorable matchup. This is just an illusion down here from Pebbles. I thought they might have set something up, but nope, just an illusion, and eventually despawns right there. Moravis, though, and again, just like last game, he great player, and by all means didn't do bad himself, but he's off to a bad start again because of the circumstances. Last game it was Devour, and just an odd matchup for him, and just didn't work out too well early on. Same thing here. I mean, Succubus, it's not necessarily an odd matchup. In fact, you can favor in a sense, but the roaming by Nymphora especially really caused a big issue and basically turned into kind of a tri-lane versus 2 even, and just a constant harassment onto her and initiating. So Moravis is off to a slower start once again, but he is level 6, so he has that the Succubus hold, I believe. Yeah, Succubus hold in the ultimate, so we'll see if she can maybe make use out of that. Of course, very, very dangerous ability to go up against, especially earlier on in the game. It almost guarantees you a free kill on most heroes. But for now, she's actually just going to continue to farm, trying to get some earlier on items here. So that's double damage on Slicks, by the way. How much gold does he have saved? 2,400. Jeez, I mean,
yep.
What else to say?
We're seeing a little bit more passive play right now as the heroes try to get their core items. Pebbles is very close to his portal key. He's trying to actually clear out some of the stacks himself. In the jungle, as he only needs about 350 gold more. And that's going to be a very early portal key, actually, despite him being up against that aggressive dual-range lane mid. So good job from him. And again, you have to attribute Hanskin on him for putting out some great roam early on, and definitely helped in that regard for the mid lane.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely did. So Hanskin 0-0-5, as you said earlier. Fantastic start. He's level 6, so at least he's got his ultimate now. Not able to use it just yet. Bubbles in the meantime again at the bottom lane. A lot of trouble. He's going to shelter port away. Going to go for the homecoming stone, and I believe he's just far enough to be out of any danger. So yeah, he'll port back to base and be fine. Obviously at the bottom lane, Bubbles being played by Krebs in here. He has just had constant harassment, but he's stayed alive, and we stress that all the time. At the very least, stay alive.
Right.
And that's what he's done. He's level 6, so again, falling behind in levels in a sense, but at the same time, he's level 6. He has a Kelfield now. We'll see if maybe they can make use of that. But Pebbles, how much gold? He just bought his portal key? I believe he did. He's going back to base right now, and he has no gold. So, yeah, he just got his portal key. Nymfora's level 6. This is a good time here for Lions to start making some crazy aggression happen.
Definitely. I mean, look at Slick's CS, 115 basically. Jeez. That is just crazy at 14 minutes. But Pebbles does port actually to the mid lane, so Nymphora is top. If they want to do kind of nymph porting, they're not going to be able to do it right now anyway. But one of the bad things about nymph port is that when you're kind of a pushing lineup, and I really shouldn't say this is a pushing lineup, but they do have a Keeper of the Forest, it's harder to initiate those pickoffs when you're actually all in. And actually, there's the Pebbles portal key, but he blinks in and he actually gets maybe turned on. Does get the haste when Glacius trying to assist him. There's the Succubus holding. Good job by Glacius. Nymphora does port behind him. They do get the kill onto Moravius. He goes down. There's actually Torture. He's in a lot of trouble. Slicks might even be in trouble himself. The Kelvin coming out, but the ultimate from Keeper of the Forest does prove to be very well. Slicks does get a double tap. He does get stunned out of that Kelfield, and he might be okay. The freeze coming out, or actually the slow coming out from Glacius, is going to push him back just a little bit. He's in a little bit of trouble as he's being pursued by the trees and the Aluna, but I think he's going to be fine. So that looked pretty ridiculous, if you ask me.
That did, but Keeper of the Forest being played by, is that Riser? Yeah, Riser here. That was great timing on his part, because if he got there a couple seconds later, I mean, Silhouette very likely could have died right there. So good timing on his part, coming in at the last minute, last second even, and setting up on what you can safely say even a turnaround there in that fight, and they pushed the middle tower as well as a result of that. So in the end, that actually worked out very well for TteS Esports. I mean, sure, they didn't get that haste rune, but obviously went very well for them. Good job at Glacius, despite losing that fight overall, perhaps. But Seokid, he was very patient with that ice imprisonment. He was basically waiting for Succubus to use that Succubus hold, and exactly when she did, it came out not even a half a second later, it seemed like, to cancel and save Pebbles initially, who of course did fall in the end, but that did allow him to at least go in there and do a little bit more damage. So good job there, but still, in the end, you could say one fight there for TteS Esports, and Slicks already has a Blessed Orb on top of his Firebrand now, so a Geometer's Bane going to be coming up very quickly here.
And there's that signature Helm of the Victim pickup from Slicks, just like to keep it at that. I think it's kind of substitute as a life tube, but it also gives you a little bit of armor too, so maybe that's his thinking, not quite sure. Nullstone actually is finished on Draconis, as he does pick up one of those kills in that fight, so that boosts his farm just up a little bit.
He's actually catching up to Silhouette. Wow.
Exactly. And actually top lane, Riser might be in a little bit of trouble. The Blinkstone actually coming on aggressively, but it's just going to hit the creeps. It's a little bit of farm there for Pebbles, as he's actually at 310 gold per minute himself. But yeah, Draconis been a little bit quieter this game than Slicks, but he's at 440 gold per minute himself.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I pulled up the GPM, and yeah, he's right up there. So LG here for Lion Esports Club, that's great news. I mean, I thought Slicks was just taking off in this game like he tends to do, but no, LG holding his own. I don't know why we're too surprised. I mean, let's be honest, it is Draconis in the end, but he did a very good job at farming that jungle very effectively, having that also now. Of course, the usual go-to. Nice kills on the tower there that was attempted to be denied, but wasn't to be so for TteS Esports. So good tower kill on top of that, and what seemed like about a 1,500 goal lead after that fight, especially for TD Esports, all of a sudden it's practically identical now, and a slight experience lead even in favor of Lions. So
yeah.
we definitely have a game here. 17 minutes in, this is turning out to be very, very good. And once again, Krebs in here, just like last game on Hag, he's having a pretty solid comeback. I mean, he's level 9 now. His farm is still struggling a little bit, but he's got Steam Boots. We're going to teach her. And look at this. Nymphora ports in with Pebbles, but the Legion team is just a little bit too far pushed back. Will they look to dive the Silhouette, perhaps? There is support nearby in Torturer, and you can probably expect some homecoming stones, but Pebbles definitely wants to go for something. That is an illusion right there. Oh, this could be absolutely horrible for the Hellborn team if they initiate on the illusion. Yeah. They need to be really careful about that. They are going to start falling back, though, so I think they saw something that gave them a cue.
That was really smart, and actually they got the first Ward of Revelation down by Steel Kid and kind of like further up towards where the tower would have been.
Yeah. And
then he placed another one right on top of that ward, and that gave him the cue. They was like, okay, guys, they know we're all here. We really should fall back because they can counter us very easily with that Keeper of the Forest ultimate. So they didn't want to deal with it, and as a result, I mean, they brought a lot of heroes down. I mean, they expected the aggression or the counter initiation coming out, so they brought a lot of heroes down there, but unfortunately their time was wasted. Torture still is only level 5. That's going to play a role, I'm pretty sure. And in the meantime, they actually increased their lead in experience and gold experience is up to 1,500.
Well, while that was happening, while the distraction at bottom you could say was even happening, look at Draconis. He was just free farming the jungle, farming this top lane now, and he is starting to take off. He is at 515 gold per minute. And that is probably going to continue here to constantly go up here for Algae, you know, pending unless he gets jumped or something like that. But he has another 1,600 gold saved up. He needs 2,900 for that Shrunken Head purchase. And the Shrunken Head Nullstone combination is what really starts to make him that very, very, very deadly hero. Pebbles in the meantime in the middle lane taking a sleep right here. But actually no initiation to follow up on top of that, so he'll just clean up a little bit on the creep wave and sit here with his teammates, but you like what Lion's doing here. I mean, they got 4 players playing as a team, and then Draconis doing his own thing, and right now, it's actually working out fairly well for them.
Yeah, and you could say that maybe TT Esports is doing the same thing, but it's for the Torturer. But Torturer and Keeper down here. Keeper did, by the way, just pick up his portal key, and hopefully, for Lion's sake, they saw that because, I mean, initiation from a portal key with maybe a Succubus ulti one other person, it's very strong, but actually Keeper of the Forest is going to TP towards the mid lane. They do want to defend this tower.
Yeah, they definitely do. So there's more and more damage adding up on top of it. Of course, Slicks is here. He has that Geometer's Bane already finished. But, again, Lion making a smart decision in that sense. They're not going to overcommit. They're going to fall back and just continue to farm away. So Lions, they're on the ball here in game number 2. They're down 1-0 after a disappointing first game loss. Of course, they definitely had their chances, and in the end, TT Esports was just too powerful. But here we are in game number 2. It looked like early on that TT Esports was off to a decent start, especially with Silhouette's farm, but they got the Pebbles farm at the very least, and as you keep going back to it, another example here, you get at least the Pebbles farm. It does really set a pace for your team, and it opens up the battlefield ultimately. And I think in this case, you know, opened it up for Draconis, put the attention perhaps on Nymphora Pebbles, and Draconis has just been kind of sitting back and enjoying the free farm. He is literally a creep kill away from finishing a Shrunken Head now as well, on top of that Nullstone. So he'll have that combination, and then, you know, but even at that point, Lions doesn't necessarily need to start forcing anything. They have a Draconis who's out farming a Silhouette right now.
Right.
And that's a pretty good news.
I think what they need to do now is get some more wards up. Unfortunately, they only have 1 ward down coming out from Lions, and when you have an Nymphora Pebbles combination, you really want more aggressive wards so you can get those pickoffs very quickly with that Nymphora port. And what they really should be doing is after they place those wards, just have Nymphora kind of sit around Pebbles while they farm, because it's going to create 2 things. You're going to get farm on Pebbles while you're waiting to look for a gank. And in the meantime, you're going to have TT Esports, on the other hand, that is like constantly fearing that gank. So it just works out really well. But first, before that all happens, they need to get more wards down. They just simply need more vision.
We do see Silhouette, or not Silhouette, but Draconis. Also first one to hit level 16, as he does right there as soon as the Shrunken Head's delivered. So was pushing up the middle lane a little bit. I thought he might have actually been in a little bit of trouble because of that. But no, he falls back and will continue to farm. So Lions, again, things are adding up here. But overall, it is a very, very even game. Of course, if you look at the stats, and it does tell you this is a very even game right now. Keeper of the Forest, you're talking about her a little bit, having that portal key. We'll see what Riser decides to go for next here. Pebbles is trying to bait out somebody here at the top lane. See if he can maybe jump anyone. But, they're starting. A couple of heroes are starting to head up here. But unfortunately for him, it is a couple and even 3 heroes. So Pebbles will be the one that needs to be a little bit careful. that he doesn't commit to anything. Keeper the Force coming up here with an invis, actually. And, he is going to jump in. He's going to fall for the bait, and this is not going to work out well for Pebbles in the end, I believe. There goes the Shrunken Head onto TteS, actually. He's going to come in. Out comes the Root over Keeper the Force. Then the Succubus hold on to Pebbles, and Pebbles will fall when it's all said and done. You see Succubus still alive, actually, in the front. She sleeps herself. Very smart by Succubus. Will be taken out in the end, though, as there we go. Great kill field coming in from Pebbles and Force there. And actually, TteS, the damage is adding up on his Silhouette. Silhouette falling back, though, taking a Nature's Veil. Will be fine. Aluna falling. Torture only level 7. Dragonflame missing. Not going to matter. Down goes Torturer, and actually Lion Esports Club comes out on top of the fight. What looked like to be an ugly situation for them, they actually responded to that very well themselves.
I mean, good job on him for putting them in, and that looked really scary. I mean, they had the bait, and actually I kind of question if TteS had not used that Shrunken Head early on, if he used it and waited to get out of Keep the Force Ultimate, it would have been way worse. But nonetheless, you're seeing that just too much farm on TteS, and just the utility ability from that Nymphora port is just so strong in these team fights, and they're using it correctly.
Yeah, that was definitely the biggest deal. I mean, because again, I looked at the mini-map, and initially there was nothing there for the Hellborn team, but obviously Nymphora ported in whoever she did, whether it was TteS or whoever else, but they came there and were able to support in time. I mean, Pebbles, he fell for the bait, but in a sense that actually did work out, obviously, for Lion Esports Club, so that was kind of good that he still fell for that bait right there. The middle tower, again, they were thinking of trying to push it, but TT Esports yet again is here to hold it off, so not going to happen just yet. TteS, though, another 3,000 gold already saved up. So he is on his way to, usually at this rate it's either the Whispering Helm or a Shrunken Head. We'll see. Or not, well, not two Shrunken Heads. Savage Mace. Savage Mace, though, does seem to be pretty popular. Of course, there's also maybe Geometer's Beam, but yeah, Savage Mace seems to be more the go-to route. In fact, there we go with the Slayer purchase. So LG on his way down to a Savage Mace as well. You got Silhouette. By all means, Slicks is still farming great, but he's actually fallen 100 gold per minute behind now, TteS.
I know it.
He's going to be picking up a Shrunken Head there here soon himself, though. So
yeah, that's a smart pickup. We see Slicks actually a lot of the time go that Geometer's Beam Shrunken Head route, and it's very strong. You have two dispel abilities, and it's not the highest damage output, but on a hero like Silhouette, you're already going to have that damage output regardless, just because of that relentless salvo. And yeah, now TteS, I definitely agree with going the Savage Mace over the Whispering Helm. The problem you run into sometimes is when you go for that lifesteal, your thinking is, well, I want to be able to live in these team fights if they do focus me. But the problem is if they don't focus you, if they just completely ignore you, and they kill off your team immediately before you're able to do anything, well then you haven't helped at all. You're not doing enough damage. So going that Savage Mace, especially with your ultimate, just synergizes so well. And he's going to be so much damage. If he keeps up this farm, he's going to have that in, like, look at that. He already has another 1,400 gold saved up, so it's ridiculous. He's going to have that in, like, 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, that is pretty damn ridiculous. But, again, this is TteS for you, but what makes this team so great, I mean, in a sense that they built around TteS where it's all about distraction. It's all about having that four-man team that can keep the other team occupied, even grant some kills here and there. Of course, having Pebbles, Nymphora, Glacius, and Bubbles definitely can do that, and they've accomplished that this game. So they've been playing as a team very, very well, and very deserving of where they're at right now here. And again, game number 2 with them down 1-0. So looking to even up the series here. In the second game. Pebbles, he's trying to be delivered something. What is it? Okay, he's trying to get delivered either the Mystic Vestments or the Mighty Blade. He's going to go the Mighty Blade. Looks like, is that his Mystic Vestments? It is Seal Kid, so that's not even his. That is Glacius. But anyways, picks up the Mighty Blade, so very likely a Shrunken Head going to be coming out of him. But we are in that phase now, 25.5 minutes in, where it is a lot about farm. But yeah, like we keep going back to, really, when the Savage Mace is picked up by TteS, maybe that's the cue of Lion Esports Club to start grouping up and really start committing to some tower pushes and some pushing in the lane, especially this first tier middle tower. They've tried several times. Haven't even gone yet. It's gotten a little bit lower and lower every single time, but TT Esports has done a good job of responding. Triple stacked Ancients over here. Silhouette is actually cleaning them up. In the meantime, triple stacked Ancients for the Hellborn team, and well, Pebbles is actually doing it. TteS, meanwhile, farming the top side instead. So some spread farm going out right here, but Silhouette, her GPM is going to pass the 500 gold per minute mark herself, actually, as a result of cleaning up those. So we are in that stage, man. Both teams going to farm it out a little bit here, but we'll see when we have some commitment coming out.
Yeah, similar to last game. I mean, it seems to get to that passive point where Slicks just kind of wants to rice, and just take over the farm type of style of game. But yeah, when you're at a time against TteS, it's not that smart in my opinion, because TteS is simply just going to out-farm you and farm faster. Now, I do give the edge in the very late game with maximum items to, I think, Silhouette. But the way he's building him, it's not going to have the highest damage output. He's building for very strong mid-game right now with that Whispering Helm. But Draconis, I feel like he's just going to annihilate this team. That goes back to the fact of spreading out the levels and the experience in bottom, having a support Torture. I already said at the beginning of the game, I just didn't think it was going to work out. I think it's going to be food to this team. I really do.
Yeah. You see the middle tower being denied right there, so finally it drops, but TT Esports able to at least deny it. But yeah, Torture, level 9, I mean, not even 1,000 life yet. She does have a Mystic Vestment, so, somewhat trying to build up a little bit of her tanky prowess, but still is very, very vulnerable to that possible Pebbles initiation, and then, of course, Draconis being in the midst of that as well. So right now, you do have to give the edge to Lions, but it's obviously a case of this is just like the first game, where by all means it's not like an overwhelming lead here for them. It's TT Esports definitely still has a chance. Really, it's going to come down to who has the better jump, in these team fights, or who maybe gets that pick. And do like your Hellborn team in that sense, especially with that Pebbles. That we haven't really seen a whole lot of Nymph 4 porting around, though, lately.
Right.
I mean, it happened earlier on, especially when he first got the portal key, but it has slowed down a little bit. I mean, she is getting, I think, close to a level 11 now, so of course we'll be able to port 2 people with her. Maybe that's what they're really waiting for. So maybe her, Pebbles, and Bubbles, but they are going to also now attempt Kongor somewhat. They're using some illusions to kind of scout out some information. By the way, the Draconis illusion, it actually spawns his third ability, the Fiery Barrage. That's pretty awesome. But Kongor's dropping, and it doesn't look like TT Esports is aware.
Yeah, and a smart decision by Draconis by popping that ultimate. They just want to kill Kongor as fast as possible. They don't want to save that for a team fight. They just want to get Kongor and then get on out of there. And so now he has the Savage Mace. He's got the token. Regen actually popped on Pebbles, so they might be able to, with that token, get a couple free towers before actually pushing in the base. You want to maybe put in the base at like, a minute 30 or 2 minutes left on that token. Utilize the full potential of that token, which means getting a free tower. Like, if you're the Legion side, if you're TT Esports, you don't really want to initiate on them having that token up on Draconis. It's just not the smartest decision. Yeah. Because you have to expend so much. Draconis could feel like he can play a lot more aggressive with that token, knowing he can just resurrect. Yeah, you talked about that ultimate, the Cataclysmic Assault from Draconis, using it right there on Kongor. I mean, on top of that, it's only a 30-second cooldown. So right,
yeah,
I know.
Really, it's a case of, honestly, you might as well use it. You really might as well, especially if you're pretty certain that they're not going to be coming, as they didn't. So, good job right there. Bubbles, again, Krebs, man. This guy knows how to come back. He's a solid suicide player, no doubt.
He is.
He is already at 250 gold per minute. Again, not taking off by any means, but definitely coming back. He's got the portal key to tablet of command, got his items. He's level 13, not looking too shabby. We have a little bit of a tower exchanging going on here between the two teams. Top tower in favor of TT Esports just before Lions, though, shortly after takes out the bottom tower. The first here as well. Middle lane being pushed up by a Luna Soul, so getting some solo experience here where so far she hits level 10. But the push is going to continue from both sides, actually. Again, we have some racing going on, but Ports are coming in big time for a line. Pebbles jumps in the background. Actually, Draconis coming in. There's that Shrug into the Cataclysmic Assault, and now the damage is going to start coming out. Succubus just trying to run away. She's going to be locked down. There's the Keeper of the Forest. He's going to go invis, but I believe they have some sort of vision. No, they do not, actually. Keeper of the Forest is going to be fine. The Kelfield catching a Luna. Glacius barely staying alive, and a Luna will just melt away, but she got the kill on the Glacius at the last second. Not sure what Glacius was thinking right there. Kind of let her get the kill, but no vision for the Hellborn team. That's a big mistake. They need to dust Rev or Bound Eye or something, but Keeper of the Force easily got away because of that.
This is the stage of the game where not even dust or Wards of Revelation should be Bound Eyes, especially against a Keeper. And there's a Assassin Shroud coming out for Slicks, especially when you have a Keeper of the Force in your team. I really don't know if I agree with that because they're already, well, maybe it's going to work because the team's not buying Revelation. But
they just got a Bound Eye on Glacius.
Okay, good. They're going to need that. Put that on Draconis or something, but I mean, look at that damage output as you just saw from Draconis. I really do agree with that decision to port up there. If you have the token, you should not be trading towers. You need to be fighting them head on.
Yeah.
So that was a smart decision by TT Esports in the first place to counter push because that's what you have to do. You have to concede fights. You cannot fight them head on, especially with one, Draconis having 600 gold per minute, guys. Two, them having the Nymph port, the strong items with Pebbles, the Shrunken Head up on him, and the token on top of that. You need to dodge those fights. So smart decision by them, but even smarter by Lions to actually contest those towers.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a case of, in the end, Lions, that was very well fought, and of course they came out on top, but it sucks for them because it actually could have been a lot better. If not, Keeper of the Forest also killed it. It could have even been another. I wasn't necessarily paying attention. Obviously so many things going on. I mean, but maybe having that Bound Die, which they do have now, like I said, on Glacius, Maybe you do want to get that onto somebody else, perhaps. I guess there really isn't any item slots, though, so it is being held on the Glacius, the squishiest of heroes. Astrolabe picked up on Nymphoria, though, but there you go. They're going to give it to Nymphoria. You know, not much tankier, but at least a little bit tankier, more tankier than Glacius, so
yeah,
that makes sense to me. They're going to group up here at the bottom lane, though, and as you said, he still has a token alive, has just under 3.5 minutes now remaining. So TteS Esports, once again, has to make a decision of do they look to counter push or do they maybe try to fight head-on, but it is deadly against Draconis with the tablet or a token of life. So,
yeah, and I'm looking at his time. He only has 3 minutes left, and again, TteS Esports doing a really smart job. They're counter pushing, and you have to make a decision quick if you're Lions. You have to either say we're pushing into the base right now, or we're TPing back right now. And I really think that they should defend these towers. Yes, I know you want to be on the aggressive side. Maybe they have the idea of let's just push in the base, and if that's the idea, then that's fine. That's fine.
Well,
of course, the silhouette, the ulti has been used already. Of course, I don't know if they know that for sure.
Yeah.
But they're going to do some counter pushing of their own in the mid lane. So
both teams are committing pretty big time to this. Silhouette cannot pour back, though. That is a big deal, actually. But they are going to pour back themselves. Nymphoria taking it back. Pebbles actually looks like they exchange the tower at the same time. Pebbles is ready to jump in as soon as everyone else is ready. The melee Rax dropping, but no, they say they're going to go back. But the melee Rax is already destroyed, so this is kind of late timing right here. But here we go. Draconis jumps in. A little will fall right at the bat. The root, though, locking them down. And TteS Esports, no doubt, came out on top of that exchange right there. That wasn't the greatest execution coming out from Lions. They went just a little bit too late. And they still didn't even get the melee Rax themselves. Like I said, Silhouette, she didn't even have a homecoming stone, but obviously, you know, maybe not full information that she had her ultimate or anything, but yeah, that was TteS Esports definitely winning that exchange right there.
yeah, they still have the token up, and maybe they just want to push right up mid with Aluna being dead. The ulti was used on Keeper of the Forest, so maybe they're thinking this, let's just push in right now. But I gotta say, this is like the 4th time I've seen Draconis use that Shrunken Head way too early. He is using it way too early, especially when you have a token of life. You do not need to be popping that anytime early.
That's true, yeah.
And he's using it before the Keeper's ulti is coming out. And it's just like, it's making me cringe. He really needs to hold that and be less liberal, and be way more conservative with your Shrunken Head. And as a result now, let me just double check on this. It's now down to 7 seconds. And I believe every single one of those times used, it was unnecessary. In the meantime, we have a Legion actually pushing the top unnaturally and get a tower kill up there, so good gold boost for them.
Now, Silhouette did just purchase a Genjiro, so that's great, but at the same time, she doesn't have a buyback here, and we do have a fight coming up, so this could be big, actually. There goes the melee Rax, so they do come out. Actually, Pebbles jumping in the background, wants to start this initiation. Slicks will pop out, though. There's that turnaround on Pebbles. He'll fall. There's a cataclysmic assault, though, and you see the damage output diving into the wall. Not going to be enough for Aluna. She will eventually fall, but Silhouette standing her ground. Dragonflame going to be used, but again, Draconis, he already activated his Shrunken Head again. He's going to come back up right here. He's going to be rooted in 8 seconds if he's not careful. There's a null stone being deactivated. Keeper of the Forest has a root, though, in 4, 3, 2, 1. Are they going to jump? Yes, he is. There's the root coming out. And Bubbles is probably going to be in a lot of trouble. Draconis had to stand his ground. They have to fight this Cataclysmic Assault coming back out. Pebbles buys back, joins the party, and that might be the big Q here for Lions Esports Club. Lions, Keeper of the Forest going to fall. Succubus also going to go down right here, it looks like. Keeper of the Force barely gets away going in Biz, but Silhouette was picked up, and as I said, she does not have a buyback. 70 seconds remaining. That could be, this is going to be huge here.
I mean, that is Nymphoria, guys. That is why Nymphoria is so powerful, and good job by them, again, for fully utilizing. I thought that was really funny because the Boundai was just sitting on the ground right there while Keeper was literally like 300 range away. Nonetheless, the big point that you made, Silhouette, no buyout, and they have to realize that with a Genjiro being just picked up just like that. Yeah. So they're able to smartly push in the base. The ults are off cooldown for TteS Esports. They just need to man up here, get this tower quickly, and then get on out of there.
Well, looks like they're thinking about it. Maybe waiting for the creeper. The creeper is nowhere nearby though. It's being counter pushed. In fact, in their middle end. They do need to keep that in mind. But there goes the range Rax down there at the bottom. They're pushing this tower. 25 seconds still on Silhouette before he resurrects. So we'll see if TteS Esports tries to delay this as long as possible. You do got Keeper of the Force. He's trying to help push the top lane in the meantime. But these Rax in the middle, they will fall right here in favor of our Hellborn side. So they're just going to get back, not even stay for the ranged Rax. They got the melee Rax. Keeper of the Forest, he is up top, but now Keeper of the Forest will need to think about getting back himself. As I said, the middle lane was completely cleared out. The Meatball taking some damage, but in the end still, Lions no doubt ahead right here. Keeper of the Forest, the Kelp field, a quarter of a second too late right there. That was really close to getting a big kill, but in the end, Keeper does port out.
Oh, in the meantime, Draconis has 7K gold. But yeah, good job from Riser getting out of there. And that was a smart decision by them to back out. I mean, it maybe looked like they could have gotten that range racks for free. Silhouette was dead for another 10 seconds. But the thing is, what smart teams will do is they will try to initiate on you before their teammate actually does resurrect, and anticipating the run away from the other team. So they're able to do that when, say, Silhouette has 5 seconds left. You know, you jump in, sleep, Silhouette has 5 seconds, that comes up, he TPs, and then you fight that. So smart decision from Lions, and a full Symbol of Rage purchased by Draconis.
Whenever you can right-click an item like a Symbol of Rage, you know you're in a great spot. Draconis is he is a freaking machine right now. Wow, that was a huge fight for Lions. It was a long fight after all. I mean, it definitely took a while down there, whether it was at the bottom lane and then eventually to the mid. But no doubt Lions should be feeling pretty good right now. Still, though, not over by any means. I mean, this is definitely still winnable by TT Esports, but Alliance is in a solid lead here. As now TT Esports, they're going to have to start paying attention to both this bottom, really the bottom lane especially. The middle lane, both the racks on both sides are cleared out, so or actually I should say even one rack's only on the Legion side, so that's actually still in favor of TT Esports when you look at the creep wave push, but the bottom lane, they do have to constantly keep in mind. You do see Silhouette currently down there. Wonder if Slicks is this time going to save up that gold and not look to invest into an item going into a fight, and obviously that was a huge factor in the last fight where he was not able to buy back, straight up purchasing that Genjiro as a result. So Kongor is going to be coming back up soon, and you see a line. That is exactly what they're waiting for, but TT Esports has that in mind as well. They're going to start coming over. We're going to scout it out with one of the tree dogs. Kongor has not respawned just yet, but the tree dog going to be taken out quickly right there by Draconis. But yeah, both teams, this is definitely a point in the game right now, 38.5 minutes in, how close it is. Kongor is going to be a huge focal point here.
It is, and that's actually Pebbles jumps in.
Oh, wow.
He uses the Shrunken Head as well as the Health Flower, the new Health Flower onto Silhouette. And actually, the stun coming on Draconis. He needs to use that Shrunken, but the Keeper of the Force I'm sure is ready. He's trying to pursue actually the Torture, who does have a Void Talisman up. Slick's doing a lot of damage, takes out Pebbles. There's a Keeper of the Forest route. Glacius does use that Void Talisman of himself. Silhouette pounding a lot of damage on Draconis. One more auto attack, he might actually fall. He does fall. Actually, Moravius gets credit for the kill. Now Glacius on the back, but he dies. Huge exchange for TT Esports.
He did not even use a Symbol of Rage right there. Draconis got tunnel visioned on a Void Talisman Torturer that whole fight. So not only was he not doing any damage, but he didn't even get the chance to use the Symbol of Rage, which he just straight up purchased. And because of that, he doesn't have buyback money right now. So that is very likely the game. TT Esports just very likely won game number 2 right here because of that Lions. I'm sure they're so disappointed, but nothing you can really do at this point. The sacrificial shrine is going down. GG well plays are being called, and TT Esports is going to take game number 2 after a huge mistake coming out from Lions. I mean, solid initiation from Pebbles. You like the idea, trying to stay aggressive here, but yeah, I think Draconis just got way too tunnel vision there. He got caught in the force himself, and he literally did nothing that fight because of that.
I think it was more actually that the initiation didn't even need to happen from Pebbles. I don't think the team was ready. You have no one else that can follow up. You have no other portal key, no other initiation to couple with that. So I was like, when he first initiated, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
why is he
that
going?
caught me off guard too,
What they need to do is just have Draconis run up there and then have him come out with like a counter initiation, because obviously Draconis is not going to die anytime soon. He has that freshly new purchased Symbol of Rage. He can activate that, which he didn't. He did get tunnel vision. Yes, you're correct, but I really think it was just a failed initiation by Pebbles.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, that is a very, very good point. And, you know, as I said, just going before that fight, just right before that fight, they're in a comfortable lead. I mean, they had a 12,000 goal lead, a 12,000 experience lead. They were ahead of Rax as well. I mean, why would you? You know, it's easy for us to say, obviously, you know, when you're in the moment, you're in the heat of the moment, you see a jump opportunity for Pebbles, you're like, I got to go on this. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think that definitely wasn't the smartest of choices, unfortunately.
I mean, they lost the game at a lead. They had a lead in both gold and experience about 6K.
That shows you, the power of just like that.
Yeah,
the game is over.
I mean, he bought a big item. Unfortunately, didn't use it. They killed him, and then they thrown him very easily.
We gave slack on Slicks for that earlier. He bought the Genjiro, and he ended up dying and wasn't able to buy back, so that was huge for Lion. But in a sense, LG did the same there on Draconis. He bought the straight-up Symbol of Rage, said, you know what, we're confident. They should have been. I mean, they were in a good spot, but he ended up dying, not able to buy back, and that definitely was a hurt. So a lot of unfortunate things happening there in the end for Lions, but, hey, TT Esports, they persevered. They countered it appropriately, and they won as a result. So they are now up 2-0, ladies and gentlemen. It is a best of 5, though, so we are definitely not done here just yet, but Lions, not only do they will have to win 3 games in a row now, they got to come back after losing a game that they really should have won, even, you could say. Yeah. So unfortunate there, but we'll see. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.